Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. On this channel we talk about all things fandom and we talk about it in a positive way. If that's something that appeals to you, you've come to the right place and we're happy to have you here. Now, today is Saturday and we talk on Saturdays about just things that we didn't get a chance to talk about the rest of the week. And today we've got to talk about these new set photos, the first look photos at the new Masters of the Universe movie. And we're going to break them down and let you know what we think of them. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so we have to talk about this new Masters of the Universe movie that is coming out in 2026. It has begun filming and we now have our first look at some of the photos from the movie. Now the photos are not giving away much, so really not any spoilers here. And if you have been following the progress of the movie, you already kind of know that He-Man starts off on Earth in this movie, apparently being born on Eternia and sent to Earth for his protection. At which point, I'm guessing sometime during the movie, at least we all hope, he is called back to Eternia to protect it, and once again realizes that he is in fact He-Man. Now this movie has a chance to do something really cool. If they flip that around and they show us Eternia second, they can kind of reverse what happened in the previous movie. Now, the other movie is a guilty pleasure to a lot of people, with Dolph Lundgren being considered to be a pretty good He-Man by a lot of people. But this movie has to top that, and having He-Man on Earth is worrisome for people. Now, we're going to take a look at these photos and break down what they could mean, because from everything I've been hearing and understanding, the whole movie isn't supposed to take place on Earth. So we see the photos, and what we see in the photos is we see He-Man being arrested. We see He-Man as Adam being arrested. And it doesn't look very He-Man-like, really, except that if you notice, the sword is right there in the photographs. The police are holding the sword while arresting Prince Adam. Now, apparently something has happened on Earth. Either he has found the sword, had to steal the sword, or something. But he has probably, by this point, discovered who he is and knows that the only way he's going to get back to save his planet is to actually have the sword. So he's got to then go and get the sword. And I think that's what we're seeing here, because the photos show him being arrested and that's all they show. So these aren't elaborate photos, and they were done by someone that was on the set. These are not official set released photos either. This could just be them filming a scene and someone snapped a picture, and that's really all there is to it. But it is telling because we now know he gets arrested for whatever he's doing on Earth. And like I said, I've heard that he's supposed to start the movie out on Earth and then go to Eternia. So I'm really hopeful, especially since we know how many characters they are going to have in this movie. I think that's exciting. We already know several of the characters that will be appearing in this movie, and all of them belong on Eternia. So we have the Sorceress, we have King Randar, we have Evil Lyn. Of course, we have Nicholas Galatazine, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, as He-Man, Prince Adam of Eternia. We have Man-at-Arms, we have Queen Marlena, we have Skeletor, we have Teela, we have Fisto, we have Goatman, we have Trapjaw, and we have Triclops. And all of these people have been confirmed to be a part of this movie. And every single one of those characters, they're not very Earth-oriented. They are not someone you can just take and transfer to Earth. It isn't like in the first movie. It isn't like in the one we saw with Dolph Lundgren where they have that little machine that teleports them to Earth to get away from Skeletor, who then follows them, and we spend the whole movie on Earth with just Teela and Man-at-Arms. This isn't like that at all. This is going to be something completely different. This is going to literally be him on his planet a majority of this movie. So looking at these photos then doesn't seem that bad. And I personally think it's interesting because I want to know what the deal is with these photos and why is it that he's arrested? Does this have something to do with him getting back to Eternia? Does this have something to do with him finally realizing who he is? That's the whole thing here that I think is going to make this movie interesting. And I'm so looking forward to seeing a lot of these people. And Jared Leto playing Skeletor. Now, I don't know. Jared Leto can play a really good villain if he's given a really good plot. However, you have to be realistic. Jared Leto hasn't actually been given plots that are suitable. The Morbius movie should have been much more than it is, and I personally did enjoy the Morbius movie for what it was, but it was very meme-worthy, and it did sort of play into kind of being a bad Marvel movie. And at the end of the day, we didn't get much of a Spider-Man connection in that movie, and the whole movie just sort of fell apart. It wasn't really well thought out or put together by them, a lot of people think. I personally did enjoy it, but it could have been a lot better. And I think Jared Leto did an okay job. And then you have Jared Leto's Joker, which wasn't for everyone, but I believe that a lot of that was script oriented too. Whether you are one of the people who believes that the other cut of the movie would have been better or not, I personally don't think the other cut of the movie made a difference in terms of how the Joker was portrayed in the movie. I think we just literally would have seen more of him in the movie, and that's all I really think would have happened there. I don't see it really having been a whole lot different, but I could be wrong. And if they ever do decide to release the other cut of the Suicide Squad, I would be 1,000% down to see it. That being said, though, I think in playing villains, it has to be a script that's suitable and it has to be a role that he can really sort of sink his teeth into. And Skeletor might be his most epic opportunity to do that. This might be the one where we look at it and we go, wow, Jared Leto stole the show as the villain. Because in the other movies, you really can't say that. In Morbius, he was the hero, villain, the anti-hero. And then in Suicide Squad, he just played this Joker that was so drastically different from every other Joker we've ever gotten on screen or in the comic books that it just really didn't make a lot of sense to a lot of fans, and it left them shaking their head wondering what they were watching. So you have to look at it that way. This could be his movie, and I think they did a good casting choice for the ones that have been announced. Would they have been my picks? Maybe not all of them, but here's the thing about that though. The movie comes out and they perform their roles excellent, then it's going to be an excellent thing. With these set photos showing him arrested, I have to believe that this is going to be what kicks off this plot. I think that this is going to kick off this plot and take us to Eternia and give us that Game of Thrones type of thing that we want, that big world, that big fantasy world, maybe something along the lines of Avatar meets Game of Thrones meets Lord of the Rings. You know, you have to go crazy in this world. It's got to be colorful. It's got to be beautiful. It's got to be epic looking. The weapons have to be great. The characters have to look great. Everything about this movie has to do amazing. And I think by looking at who they've cast, I can see the possibilities already starting to kind of shine through. I can see the possibilities of this being a good movie. But I know a lot of people are worried. They take a look at these photographs and they go, oh, wow, okay, he's on Earth. And yeah, this is not my He-Man. But I urge you to kind of just accept that he's going to be on Earth for the first part of the movie and then probably go to Eternia. I urge you to take a look at what they're going to be doing. As more news comes out, we'll talk about the news that comes out. We'll be able to garner whether or not this movie is going to be something that's worthwhile, or we can actually contemplate if we think it's going to be bad. But as of right now, we don't have much to go on. But that is where I am going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that this He-Man looks good? Do you think that that sword looks epic? What are your thoughts about how we get from Earth to Eternia? Do you think that it's a major part of the plot? Do you think that this is just maybe the first 5 or 10 minutes? Do you think all of it's going to take place on Earth? Or do you think we're actually going to get to see Eternia as it was in all of our childhood memories? As always, we want to know what you guys think, so make sure you are leaving us that comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this crazy conversation we're having. And then make sure you hit that like button. It's free, it really helps the channel, and we definitely appreciate it. So hit that like button, and then Miko says we need more subscribers. And look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification button while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it. You know it. And Miko knows it. Fandom is family.